Hello Ultra fans, Rustmarrow here, and today I want to talk about the first episode of Ultraman Taiga. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The pacing and the writing was really well done, but it loses those 3 points because I thought it was really lacking, firstly in terms of action and secondly in terms of soul, but I'll go into that later on. But seriously, I thought it had a better first episode than both Kamen Rider Geo and Ryu Soldier, and basically every single new generation Ultra series except Orb and maybe X, X is a bit more even with this one. So now that you guys know what I generally think, I'm gonna break down the episode piece by piece. First of all, we start with a very action-packed prologue with Taiga fighting the other new generation Ultras, and this was honestly really nice to watch, and starting the episode right in the middle of the action is always awesome. And right after the opening song, we get right back into the action again with Hiroyuki in the middle of a case, so yeah, just keeping the action going, keeping the viewer interested, that was really nice. You know how in the first episodes of series, usually there isn't enough time and space to develop the other side characters because they're busy introducing and developing the main character? Well, in Taiga, the way that they actually manage the small scenes where the side characters appeared actually manages to tell us a lot about the different characters, which I really liked and I thought was really well done about this episode, and like the overall writing for the characters was great, I feel. We don't learn much about the secretary girl just yet, but I thought the boss was really well introduced in this episode, and the other, Hiroyuki's partner, he also gets some decent development as well, as we'll see later. We learn a lot about Hiroyuki and the choice he makes here. I also really like the direction they are going with for the theme of the series here, like with aliens secretly living within the human society on Earth and trying to basically abuse their presence here on Earth for their own ends. Like seriously, we have an alien stealing the baby of a kaiju so that they can prove the might of their own kaiju, which they are trying to sell in an auction, which is kind of a product placement for the mobile game Ultra Kaiju Battle Breeders, but at the same time it is quite a mature and dark twist on things. Like, I won't say it's completely mature and dark just yet, they do tone it down a lot, but it is more mature than a lot that we've seen in the new generation Ultras, a bit more closer to the older generation, which is definitely what I prefer. And the fact that from the very beginning we have an alien dude who's trying to stop the evil alien dude, although technically the good thing is that he's not exactly evil, he's just more of just a criminal. So him layered together with like the other aliens who are opposing him, and then in this like sort of ecosystem on Earth where they're both trying to achieve their own objectives, just adds this slight layer of like political complexity, which I really like. Like, it just shows that, you know, aliens and humans, they are not really that much different from each other. There are good ones and there are evil criminal ones who are trying to like do their own thing, but in the end it's not just about, oh, Earth is good and then all aliens are bad, all aliens are evil, the kaijus are bad, we need to destroy all of them with Ultraman. This scene I really didn't like. I think it was just the way it was written or portrayed, but like, I think what they were going for is that Hiroyuki's in a pinch where his life and the life of the baby kaiju is at risk, but then he has the resolve to get through the situation, and it's only by him having that heart and that resolve that Taiga is able to regain his powers and transform. I think that is what they were trying to go for, but it didn't really come strongly enough. To me, it felt more like, honestly, Taiga could have just possessed him and given him the Taiga spark at any time, and Taiga was just like chilling there waiting for him to like say some cool... Okay, actually it wasn't very cool at all. The lines were quite corny. It was, I don't know, maybe it's just the acting, but I really didn't like the atmosphere of this scene, and then, yeah, that's the thing. I just felt like this scene was not cool. And I watched Toku because it's supposed to be cool. And I'm sorry, this henshin pose was just a bad idea. I mean, it's literally grab, point, put into other hand. Buddy, go! Okay, like, it's not cool. And the whole fight scene after he transformed into Taiga, I just thought overall it was quite lacking. Like, I actually finished Roop, even though I didn't think the story was the greatest, but I really liked like the messages they were going for, and the action was really nice. The action was really great. But in this first episode of Taiga, like, the action just isn't enough to keep me hooked. Like, I just didn't really enjoy the fight. It wasn't memorable for me. It was just like an Ultraman beating up on a monster, and I don't remember much other than that. But moving back to the positive stuff, one thing that I thought they did really well in this episode was like introducing the enigma of Taiga. Like, I mean, I haven't watched the Root movie, but I think that even in the Root movie, they didn't explore much of Taiga's character and like true motivation, so I'm really hoping they'll go into it in this series, because from what I'm seeing and like the random crazy stuff he can do, like just summoning a crazy kaiju that's way stronger than the other kaiju, it is just I want to know why he can do that, where his powers come from, what his motivation is, and like what is with his like whole attitude and behavior. You know, he's such a mystery villain right now, and it's just so interesting. Like, the only thing like I feel like I'm hyped for to see is like more of Taiga and what kind of character he's actually gonna be. And finally, going back into the development of the side characters, there's so much subtle development going on with the boss in this first episode that I love it so much. And like, she is also like becoming a really interesting character just like Taiga, and I'm really looking forward to see how they develop her in the future. For now, Hiroyuki is still really one-dimensional for me, but I mean, it is still the first episode, so I'm gonna let that slide. Coupling what they've done with the side characters so far and the overall theme and worldview of this Ultraman series, I am actually expecting Hiroyuki to get some really awesome character development, and I hope they really live up to these expectations, because the overall writing and pacing for this episode was really good. I think they just need more time to really flesh the characters out even more and just make it awesome. But let's go back to something I mentioned at the start of this episode. I gave this episode only 7 out of 10, even though I thought it was really well written and paced. And I did mention it was because they are lacking in soul. And like, I'm not very sure how to describe this fully, but to put it in a simple sentence is that even after watching the first episode, I am honestly not that hyped to continue the series. Like, I objectively, as a writer, I feel like this was a really good episode, but I just don't feel like that hype and like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens in next episode of Taiga. Even though actually after breaking down the episode for you guys like this, I'm quite hyped to see what happens to Trek here. But for series, for Taiga himself and like about Taiga, I'm not too hyped. And like, I don't know, I just feel like both Hiroyuki and Taiga are not that cool. And like, coolness is just something that comes with Toku, you know? I mean, like, even the Rube brothers, Rosso and Blue, even though they are completely the like not cool archetypes at all, they were cool in their own ways from the first episode, and I could feel that, which is why I got hyped to continue the series. But right now, I'm just not feeling the strength and the soul, you know, of Ultraman coming through from Hiroyuki and Taiga. But I am definitely still going to continue the series, don't get me wrong, I am definitely going to continue the series. I do think this was a great episode, and I am objectively, but not passionately, looking forward to seeing what is gonna happen in future episodes. And dude, like, Taiga appears in the next episode already, so that is something for me to look forward to. So that was my 2 cents on Ultraman Taiga, just my humble opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about the first episode as well, whether you agreed with me or disagreed with me, whether like on a whole, or like whether you agreed with me on certain parts or disagreed on me on certain parts. I love to hear what you guys think about the first episode as well, actually. Anyway, that'll be all for this episode. Do give it a like if you enjoyed it, and make sure you guys subscribe for more Ultraman and Tokusatsu content. And with that, hope to see you guys in the next Ultraman video. Shh.